welcome back to Detecting, everybody. Welcome to the front lounge room. And look, there is no detecting again today. Damn. If you know, you know. But that's okay. What we've got in front of us instead is a very, very special surprise. And I know it just looks like a brown box at the moment, but there's something behind it. And that is what I'm going to reveal just in a second. So basically, I just wanted to shout out, before I do the reveal, I just wanted to shout out a huge thank you to everybody, I mean that too, that has supported me over the last, 2 months. Everything going on with the Detecting channel and YouTube channel, Facebook page, group, social platforms in general. Look, it's been a lot. And not to mention, on top of that, I've had surgery, and look, a week later, my job was made redundant. So tough times build tough people though, and that's what we're getting through those. So I'll just say, behind this box is something very special and something that I've been wanting to get back to for quite some time, and that is basically hunting for the gold. As you can see, we've got the GPX 6000 in front of us by MINELAB, and it is a ripper machine, and this is generally the machine that everybody's using today and everybody's finding gold with, and I'm going to join that crowd, and we're going to show you tips and tricks as we go along. So the 4500, the GPX 4500, is where I first started metal detecting. That was my first ever metal detector. I had nothing else prior. I'd never ever used a metal detector prior to the 4500. So look, it's a big step up from the 4500 to the 6000. Things are a lot more simplified though now compared to what I was running, and the 4500, as you can imagine, to start off detecting, well, it was a huge learning curve. And then not long after that, after finding gold, and I thought it was cool, don't get me wrong, everybody loves a bit of gold, but after finding about 3 or 4 bits of gold, actually transitioned over to the coins and relics, and that was actually due to some of the sites that I'd come across whilst looking for gold. So anyway, what we're going to do, let me take a breath. What we're going to do is we're going to show you quickly what's in the box. I've just flipped over the 14-inch double D coil and the 11-inch mono coil, and funnily enough, the 11-inch mono coil is the exact same coil that I had on the GPX 4500, and the first coil that I ever found gold with the 4500. So let's put the 11-inch down there. Let's put the double D 14-inch down there. And let's see what else we've got in the box here. And I'm not going to lie, I've already had a look in here, so it's not new for me, but it's still damn cool. So let's pull out the inserts, and look, we've got the headphones in here over the back here. Probably once again, things that I won't use, you know. With the 4500, I never really bothered using the headphones. They were just something that I never bothered with. I actually had an external speaker hooked up onto my harness, and that was what I preferred, because I like to hear what's going on around me. It's the exact same when I'm detecting for coins and relics. So never ever use the headphones. So we've got the headphones, we've got the headphone jacks by the look, the cables there. We've also got some alligator charging clips with a charging point on the other end there, and everything's still in plastic, I know. We will get it all out and lay it out on the table and show you a look. Over the back here, we've got another USB, well, the first USB, have a little USB charging type cable, another charging cable, very cool. We've got the arm cuff support, which will just be a slide on onto the rail, and then an adjustable clip-on support, no doubt, and adjustable setup, I should say. We've also got the little MINELAB gold bottle. Now, hopefully we fill this up pretty quick, not with rubbish, with lead and nails, hopefully with gold. Over the back here, I doubt it, you do dig a lot of rubbish. But the more you dig, the more chance you have of finding that gold, and it'll come when you least expect it. So we've got some charging adapters there, and the charging cable down the bottom. Very cool. Also, before we bust the machine out, because that's what I'm waiting to pull out and have a look at, also we've got the battery. Now, this is a very, very good design. I like this design and the fact that it clips into the machine, because I remember the 4500, it was an external battery. It didn't clip into the machine at all. And basically, there was one time I remember in particular, I drove 3.5 hours, and funnily enough, I forgot my battery. I'd left it at home on the charger, and I'd forgot to take my battery, put it in my harness. When I got out the bush, I grabbed my detector, my 4500, that felt all right. I then grabbed my harness out and realised, oh, hang on, that's a bit light. Damn, I forgot my battery at home. So 3.5 hours away, and I could not use it. I could not detect. So look, you could make that mistake with this. However, charging it up overnight, clipping it straight in, well, look, you can't leave it behind. It's not an external part. It's not like something that you have to have rigged up to your harness like the 4500. So look, that's a brilliant idea, and I love it. So a little bit of weight in it, the machine and the battery combined, but combined, it's only 2.3 kilo. I think I've got that right, what I read on the box there. So 2.3 kilo, and look, straight away it wants to dip down at the back there, being heavy. But look, once we put the coil on, adjust the telescopic carbon fibre shaft there, and once we put a coil on, I'm certain it's going to feel a lot better and a lot more well balanced. So GPX 6000, look out, we're off to find some gold, Basil. And look, I'm going to share, like I've done with the coins and relics, I'm going to share a lot of information regarding to the gold, and relating to how to find it, you know, where to look for it, where it sheds off the hill and off the reefs and down into the gullies. And we're going to show you that through maps and planning, and even getting out in the field and testing out that theory and showing you where the gold is found. So, look, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I have found gold, multiple bits of gold. Call me lucky, I don't know. But look, research pays off. That's all I'll say. And I'm going to show you a lot of that research. So that is very, very important side of detecting. Coins, relics, or gold, your research is very, very, well, it's beneficial to all detecting. So anyway, now let's get everything out. Let's clear the table, get all the plastic off, put the machine down, and set it up. All right, well, as you can see, we've got it all unboxed. It's all unwrapped, and it's all sitting out here on the table. So I just love, one thing I love about MINELAB's gear, it's simplistic design. It's easy to put together straight out of the box and get using straight away. And we're not going to have the opportunity to get out and test it today. However, we can put it together today, show you guys a look, and in our next video is when we get to test it out. When we're going to get out to the bush and check out what it's like. And remember, Andrew, the father-in-law, he has a GPX 5000. Now this is a GPX 6000. How interesting will it be to pit the two machines together? He might be able to find a bit of gold and this may not even register, or vice versa. I might find a bit of gold and the 5000 may not even hit on it. So it's going to be some interesting times to come, and we've got a lot of work to do in future. Just charging up the battery there before. Now, rule of thumb, I like to charge everything that I get straight out of the box before I even turn the unit on. So same as this here, the metal detector, we've charged the battery up. It's good enough to slot in. It's good enough to turn on straight away. But we're not going to turn it on straight away because it's going to bring up an error and noticing that we don't have a coil attached. So step one is for us to put the battery in. It's got a nice little padded surface to sit down there. Step two is, well, we're going to put the arm cuff on. I'll just show you here. It's got this little button here. Now you can push him up from below here. Obviously once it's on the machine you're not going to be able to. The little button there, he's got the little tab. You stick your finger in and you pull him up. Now once again, simplicity design. You know, MINELAB machines, they're very, very simple and easy to use, easy to put together, user friendly. So we'll just slide that arm cuff on and basically sliding him down the adjustment rail. And when we're ready, when we've got him at the right point, I've got long arms. When we're ready, we simply just lock that tab down. Where is he? In the right spot. There he is. We lock the tab down. So once he's sat in amongst the teeth there, we can push the tab down and it'll lock in, therefore not moving that arm cuff. It's stuck in position. And simply, look, if Helena was to pick this machine up, or one of the boys, it's only 2.3 kilos, so the boys could easily use it. And we can simply slide that arm cuff forward and, well, drop him back into place there. Simple as that. So very, very cool. Let's just move him back, because that's not where I want it to be. I want it to be back about there. And lock him back into place. So step one, battery's in. Step two, arm cuff is on. Now I'll just say too, I like to adjust this strap and wind him out a little bit, especially when you're wearing a thick jumper. You know, I do not have the thickest arms compared to others. However, when I'm wearing a thick jumper, you'll find that it always gets caught on there and gives you a little bit of trouble whilst hunting. So you do see some people detect like that, and they simply sit their arm on top of the armrest there, the Velcro armrest. However, for me, I just find that you get a lot more control when you actually put your arm through and you use the arm cuff to help guide the swing. So very important. So what we're going to do too is we are going to get a cover for the GPX 6000 here We're also going to get a cover for the control unit, so one for the back and one for the control unit, and just protect the battery and the housing here, and also the control face at the front there. So the next step that we're going to do is, you guessed it, we're going to put a coil on. So let's get started and do that. Right, well the coil that I want to put on, just for today's purpose of this video, and look, probably the coil that I'll be running the most, is, you guessed it, the 11-inch mono. So we'll just take the little lug nut out of there, and we're going to drop in our rubbers first and foremost, and they're just going to help basically stiffen up that coil and hold it in place, stop it from moving around on us. So these rubbers do wear out. You will need to replace them one day, but for now they're brand new, aren't they? We're going to get a long time out of them. So let's just put the coil on now, and we don't have a little nut on the end. It's actually fixed in to the coil itself. So all we're going to do is screw this little bolt in once we line him up properly. There he goes. He's just found his way home, and he's nice and tight. Now, we don't over tighten the coil whatsoever. We just tighten him up, give him a bit of a twist, and twitch him up as required. So look, I'd leave it at that. Once it gets out in the field, you might find that you get a bit of water in between the rubbers and the eyelets of the coil, and you might find that that starts getting a bit sloppy. A simple just twitch up of the coil, of the little nut there, and it'll fix it up straight away. But the worst thing you can do is over tighten that. I see some people and they are tightened up so much, and the coil, well, it's struggling to move. The coil should be stiff enough to hold its place like that, but it should be free enough to be able to move back and forth, not doing any damage to the shaft or the coil eyelets itself. And these are pretty strong. These are very strong shoulders, as you can see, compared to what you see on the some of the coin relic hunting machines. So anyway, let's stretch him out. We've got these awesome cam locks here. So twitch that guy up, and we'll undo the next one. Clockwise they go, and we'll twitch the next one up. Now what we're going to do is obviously, just straighten that coil. And what we're going to do now is obviously twitch this lead around. So put the coil lead around, and we'll come back and give you a look at him all set up. Alright, so just a quick look at the 6000 here, guys. As you've seen, we've just been setting it up. We've attached the coil, we've wound the coil lead, we've plugged him in, everything's nice and firm, but not over tight. Remember, that is the key. And what we're going to do quickly is, look, I don't expect much. It's going to be a very noisy test. And what we're going to do though is just throw the machine on quickly and give him a bit of a look, give him a bit of a test out. So we're going to turn the power button on here, and he's going to start up for the first time. How awesome. It's going to be noisy. There he goes. Does his noise cancel, automatic noise cancel. So we should have been technically holding him off the ground when we did that, but we're not out in the bush, so it does not matter. So we've got, wow, that's noisy. We've got backlight here on the side. We've got sensitivity that we can play around with. Going up into auto mode from what I know, and then back into manual. As I said, I've got a lot of learning to do on this, and I'm happy to do it. I can't wait to get out in the bush and start using it. We've got volume on the side here. Super noisy. Listen to all those whales. We've got sensitivity in the middle there, minus and positive, similar to the Equinox range and the Vanquish range. It looks like we've got a mode button down the side here. Let's push it and see what it does. Wavy line, straight line, back to wavy line, back to straight line. So there we go. I think that's difficult and normal ground. Once again, I've got a bit of learning to do. And then we've got what I think is a noise cancel button on the side here. Aha, it is too. So once again, we can perform a noise cancel whenever we like, whilst out in the bush when we need. And there's a quick track button on the back here too. I don't know how well you can see that. There it is. But we can push the quick track button, and for what I know, that is your ground balance, your quick track ground balance. So anyway, that is super noisy. Let's turn him off, and let's start him back up when we're out in the bush next time. Right, well that finishes off for today there, guys. And as you've probably heard right throughout this video, I've had a whopping big smile on my face. We've got a 6,000 to play with now, and no, we are not going away from the coins and relics, and not by far. This is just something that we can do in the meantime, and something that we can also add to our channel for future, providing more tips and tricks for everybody out there. So, as I said, we're not going away from the coins and relics. I don't think, don't think Luke's quit on that, because I certainly haven't, and I look forward to getting back to it more for future. As I said, just a bit of tough times at the moment, but tough times are okay, because tough times build tough people. And look, we're getting through it quite well with our head above the water, but it's also thanks to you guys. So anyway, that is about it for us today. 6,000, we've set it up, we've had a play, a bit of a noisy test, but the next test will be out in the bush, and I look forward to seeing you there. Cheers guys, happy hunting, we'll see you next time.